course. Alright, before we get started, I'm not being held hostage, and I haven't been told to not show my face, and I haven't been told that I'm not allowed to look at anyone else's face. I have chosen these things for myself. Long story short, not being held hostage, and I've made these decisions myself. Let's get into it. So, language, well, at least any good language has 4 categories of words. So we're gonna start with adjectives. Adjectives describe stuff. Shit. Adjectives describe things. They give attributes and characteristics to a thing, an object. And you might say there's other types of words than 4 words, categories of words. There's other types of categories of words. Well, really all those other categories fall into these 4 categories. Prepositions fall into adjectives. And directives, they also fall into adjectives describing pronouns are type of nouns, and there's other words that fall into these 4 categories. So really there's only 4 types. So don't let them trick you like they did in preschool, in kindergarten or elementary. It's okay. Oh yeah. Okay, adjectives describe nouns. Nouns. I'm on a time limit here. A time limit I set. Okay, don't worry. And okay, so adjectives describe nouns. So we know that. And adverbs, they describe verbs. Okay, well, what is a verb? A verb explains how an object moves. It explains a process. So verbs explain a procedure, and adverbs explain more about the procedure. So adverbs are really the adjectives of stuff doing things. Then we have verbs. Adverbs describe verbs. So adjectives. Oh no, I used the same color. Okay. Adjectives describe nouns, and adverbs describe verbs. Nouns are stuff, and verbs are what stuff does. Okay, got it. So. Oh shit, this. Yeah, that's chapstick. It's really good. I like. So, adjectives describe nouns and adverbs describe verbs. So just remember this for future, because I'm about to. This is how particle physics works. So that summarizes the first part. There's nothing left. So we're about to go to the second part. I can't see shit. So basically, at the highest level, the universe and everything that works inside the universe can be described by only a noun and adjectives. Let me show you why. Here's the universe. And you can say the universe is actually just one big object, a noun. it's described by everything inside of it. That's an adjective. You can think of collapsing all of space-time into one cube, and that's the adjective describing the memory database describing all of the universe. Or at least an approximation. It's the same color. Can't see. Fuck, this is green. Yes. So you could say, adjectives are inside of here. And that's it. You only need to describe the entire universe. You only need adjectives encapsulated by a noun. Unless the universe itself is part of a multiverse, then technically everything is an adjective. Every universe is an adjective describing the grand multiverse as the noun. So really, if you go high enough level, everything is an adjective or everything is a noun. Because that's just the thing, collapsed altogether. And that's kind of useless. So what we're gonna do is go to the lowest level we can, particle physics. Okay. Let's get this right. Perfect. Okay. So at the fundamental level, the smallest level, we have properties describing the fundamental particles. And there's 12 fundamental particles, 12 fundamental matter particles. And they're called fermions. Basically, there's 6 quarks, and there's three quarks, 3 inverse quarks, 3 electrons, and 3 neutrinos. 3 times 4 is 12. And then those make up all of matter pretty much. And so those are the particles, and they're described by properties, which are really just adjectives. And the particles themselves are nouns that encapsulate these properties for each fundamental particle. These adjectives. And then also we have interactions, and there's the gravitational interaction. However, it's not described well by these standard models, these fundamental models, because it's so weak, and also its general relativity contradicts it. So we'll just ignore that. But pretend it's gravity, the strong force, the weak force, and the electromagnetic force. Those are all of the forces. These forces describe the bosons. And bosons, all they are is they are particles that carry the force. They transfer the information of the force to another particle. And finally, bosons, gravitons, maybe, gluons, which describe the strong force, or the strong force describes gluons, weak force describes W plus and minus and Z0 bosons, and electromagnetic forces are described, electromagnetism describes photons, and the Higgs boson, that just gives properties mass. So look at the connection here. We have the properties of the particles are adjectives, we have the particles are nouns, we have the interactions are adverbs, and we have the bosons are the verbs. Now these can be interchangeable because the strong force and the the strong force and the weak force are both non-linear, and so they actually can be flipped. Like the interactions can be adverbs, and the interactions can be verbs, and the bosons can be adverbs. But for electromagnetism and gravity, it's not like that. However, there might not be a graviton, like I think. So who knows? That's still debatable. But basically, you can describe most systems with just 4 things: adjectives, nouns, adverbs, and verbs. And that's pretty much it. Now we can explain language, particle physics, computers, and pretty much any process. Like if you're engineering something or whatever. Oh, God. My head. Stupid fucking thing off. My head hurts so bad. What the fuck? Bluey? I mean, God, my head. Bingo. I thought we were done. What is this? High level model. Bingo. You might be onto something here. I mean, you pretty much filled it out for me. This is it. Oh wait, you gave me some stuff to fill in so I can explain it, right? You're so funny. Alright, let's fill this in. So like we talked about earlier, the high level model is pretty much the container of everything and all of information. Everything being the noun. And information being the adjective. Describing the noun. Even though information is a noun, it describes everything, so it's the adjective in this. In this context, information is the adjective for everything, which is the noun. Cool. Let's see, you said you slice it in half and you can create, you said cut down the middle, or you slice into parts and you create the middle to low level model. Yeah, which is basically this cut in half. So like we had earlier, information is the adjective. And the state is the noun. But there is a transition state over here that also has its own information to progress to the next step. And the transformation will be the verb. And obviously the information contained inside of it would be the adverb describing the transformation, which, wait a second, where's the pink? Underlined orange is pink. I ran out of pink. Okay, so this is supposed to be pink, this is pink. That's pink, that's pink. Wait, bingo, the pink worked just fine. Where'd it go? Oh my gosh. Purple cow, don't even act like you were a part of this. Don't even act like you tried to help. Because all you did... Not only did you... Wait a second. Not only does the pink not work, but you smushed it in like a 3-year-old or like a kindergartner. I don't want you to try and mess with any of my projects from now on. You understand, purple cow? God. Have your stupid pink. It doesn't even work. You just... I'm so sorry about that, bingo. It made your life a lot more difficult. Anyway, the term is described by the adverb, and I'm just going to write it in orange and underline it with black. It describes the verb. So here's the black. Oh, this barely works either. There we go. So now, that describes the first step, and it also can be described. Oh, I see what he did here. So, bingo, what you're saying is that everything is the sum of every instance, which contains a state and a transformation state to the next state. And it can be summed either discretely or continuously, like you say here. And the transformations can be dependent and or independent, depending on what type of transformation you're on. Or it can be a combination of the two. And so over here, you say A is represented as a finite or infinite constant or list of these types of constants. Oh, it's just like basically everything is just a big number. The everything theory is just a number, but you just have to partition it into its lists to understand what that number means. So everything really is just a noun, but the information contained is the meaning and can describe pretty much how the entire universe works. It's the everything theory. So A is a finite or infinite constant, like an infinite constant would be pi, a finite would be like 4, something that doesn't repeat forever, or 4.5, or 4.5, sorry, voice cracked, or list of these types of constants, which would be like containing more information. And C, which is the transformation, not the state, is deterministic, chaotic, probabilistic, or random transformation, or a combination of these transformations stored as a different type of A containing B. So still, even though this is a transformation, it's just a number. It can either be the same number contained in here or a different one. And this goes into this and produces this, and it goes back and forth and forever until you created a universe or a system. And so I have here A contains B and C contains D contains A contains B. Because A is the noun or everything, or A is the noun or the state, B is the adjective or the information within the state, C is the transformation and transformation state, and D is the information contained within the transformation state. So A contains B and C contains D contains A prime contains B prime, a different type of A and B. So we have it here. And I would encourage you to pause it here, because there's a lot of stuff going on here, and it really depends on context. But you can really describe everything as a bunch of slices of DTs, or DIs, or delta I's, depending on if it's finite or infinitesimal, and that creates everything. So every step in time or whatever contains the entire universe. The sum of slices is everything. And that pretty much covers all of the everything theory right here. Right here is the everything theory. While Bingo and Purple Cow were fighting, I made this really dense thing explaining further about the everything theory value. It's just a really dense thing, but this pretty much explains it. I can go into more depth if you like the video and comment on it. I might make another video explaining more in depth about any questions you have, but this is it. This is the everything theory. And more.